Okay, so we've just learned the basic recipe. You've learned the points, you've learned the setup, you've learned reminder phrases, ready to get started, learned a little bit of practice.
Right.
But I wanted to have a little discussion just to talk about the purpose of the language, the goal of the language, because there are situations in which you'll need to adjust the language. And when you adjust the language, you want to make sure that you're still accomplishing the same goal. The two parts of the language are, even though I have this problem.
Right, and accept yourself.
I deeply and completely accept myself. Right. So even though I have this problem, is acknowledging that there's a problem. We need to focus it at the negative.
Right.
Right.
And it's the negative, not the positive.
It's the negative,
a lot of people really don't understand that,
Right, or they don't want to get into the negative.
Or they've been taught by conventional therapy that you've got to always be positive or something, and that's really a no-no here. We want to aim for the negative. We want to get the negative out of the way and let the natural positive sort of bubble up, in the system.
And we might actually frame that, by letting them know that you and I have been students of positive affirmation for a long, long time.
Very long time.
We both use it. We use visualizations. We understand affirmations. We also understand the negative forces that get in the way of affirmations doing their job.
Right.
The job that you're hoping they're going to do.
Sure.
So it's not that we're against positive thinking in any way.
Yeah.
It's just that with this tool, we're cleaning out the things that get in the way of that.
Yeah.
And that's what we want to focus on.
So we got to call a spade a spade. We got to aim right at the real issue and not cover it over with some fluffy words.
It's a problem. Let's call it a problem.
Yeah, it is.
If you want to get rid of it, let's just talk to it.
Yeah. And let's bring it out in its glory and do our thing with it. And if we get rid of it, it's not in the way anymore.
Right. Okay, and then I deeply and completely accept myself. Now that's people could argue that's a positive affirmation. It is an affirmation of sorts.
Well, yeah, it is, and that some people can actually have a problem with that because that can actually because they don't accept themselves and they say that can actually point to bigger issues. So that's why we sometimes use other phraseology if it fits for the client.
Yeah, but if we look at the goal of that language, there's a number of things that you can accomplish with I deeply and completely accept myself. Or the goal of the language is really just to have a moment of acceptance despite the fact that we have a problem.
Yes.
We don't need to accept 40 or 50 years of, mistakes or, parental experiences or, whatever else is in there. We want a moment of acceptance.
Mm-hmm, sure.
So we don't, some people say I deeply and completely accept myself and they assume that they have to accept everything about themselves, and that's overwhelming. I don't know that anybody can really, truly
Well, no, because we all have a lifetime full of stuff. I mean, we would all love to take the clock and turn it back and redo a few things, I mean, who doesn't have that, know? So, but some take it on harder than others. So the accept myself, and it's a very useful part of the whole process. Yeah, sure, we're aiming at the negative, but if we just aim at the negative straight on and never have anything that counterbalances it a little bit, I mean, some people can go into, not only do I have this problem, but I am the problem, and I'm a sinner, and the devil has nothing on me. I compete nicely with him or her.
Yeah, so the affirmation then provides a bit of detachment.
Sure.
A bit of like, even though I have this, I accept myself, the problem is not me.
Yes.
There's some detachment, and that's going to unplug resistance.
Right.
Because a lot of people, they don't want to focus on the negative, so there's resistance to the fact that they have a problem to begin with.
Yes.
So I deeply and completely accept myself is an important part, or what that accomplishes is an important part of the setup.
Sure.
As we apply it. So let's take a look at some of the other, there are some other versions that wouldn't really apply to people who can't accept themselves or are having resistance to that language. But some of the things that you mentioned in the original training DVDs is, I deeply and completely love and accept myself.
Mm-hmm. I'm open to the possibility that I could accept myself.
Yeah, that's for somebody who isn't ready to go there, but we can say I deeply and completely, accept and forgive myself. I deeply and profoundly accept myself.
Yes.
Those are kind of some, little variations. If some of those feel more comfortable, they accomplish the same thing. But then for people who can't, I mean, they just I deeply and completely accept myself. What? I can't say that.
Yes.
So in that case, we want to at least open the door. We want to point them in the direction of acceptance. When we change the language, because that's a situation where we really do need to change the language.
Yeah.
Because otherwise we're adding disruptions onto the pile.
Yeah. So you need to be respectful of that, and so if the term accept isn't the right term, like I said before, open to the possibility that I could accept myself. Even something like I'm okay.
Right. Even though I have this problem, that's okay.
And perhaps things will work out.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of different ways you could say that that is respectful with the client where they are. That is, if you choose at that moment not to go into the reasons they don't accept themselves, because that's a big issue in and of itself.
Right.
So.
Yeah. So, even though I have this problem, I'm trying to accept myself.
Yes.
Even though I have this problem, I would like to accept myself.
Sure.
All those things, I mean, if you just look at the purpose of the language, it points them in the direction of acceptance as a possibility.
Sure.
And that's, that's what we want to accomplish.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen people adjust the language in ways that don't accomplish that goal.
Right.
So that's the point we're trying to make here, is you want to keep that in mind. Okay, so those are some great ideas for when you're getting into using the basic recipe on issues and you run across challenges.